Hello everyone, LadyPhoenix here, and welcome back to some more Zelda 2, The Adventure of Link. Yeah. Whew. Okay, so in the previous video we completed the Medora Palace, and in this video we are going to complete Island Palace, which is Palace number 3. That right there was just King's Tomb. It doesn't have any significance as of right now, but as a landmark. If you go directly south, you'll come to this screen here, use the fairy spell, and it's the only way you can get up this ledge because it's a little too high for the jump spell. You move over to the next screen, we have these spike-like enemies that we've seen a few times in the previous video, I believe, but now we can actually do something about them because now we have the downward thrust, and the Goriah is still a pain in the butt. They get on my nerves. But we have a few new enemies in the upcoming palace, which by the way is right there. It's really easy to get to. So it's gonna be, this video I believe is under 15 minutes. So that's good. That statue right there can either be a red Iron Knuckle or either a red potion. Now I do go and backtrack to that red potion because one thing that this game does do right, which I really do appreciate, which I think needs to be said, which by the way, that's the new enemy. I believe it's called a Doom Knocker, if I'm not mistaken. Those maces, or is it axes? I can't really tell from here because I'm watching the playback video footage through my editing software, so it's slightly blurrier than my actual TV, of course. But I believe those are axes and they hit like freaking tanks. Anytime you encounter them, if you can't use the jump spell, which I like to use because sometimes they like to jump and throw their projectiles at you, which is higher than your normal jump. I just like using that using the jump spell for extra height to kind of maneuver myself. If you can't do that, at the very least cast shield because those guys hit really hard. But anyway, oh my gosh, I lost my train of thought. What was I saying? Oh, the red potion. I do go back for that red potion because one thing that this game does do right that I think needs to be stressed is that once you kill these enemies in the palace, they don't respawn, which with the exception of what I've seen so far is those little spike guys. I believe those guys are called Mews or MU. I believe that's how you spell the enemy's name. With the exception of those and the little mini horse head that just hops around that take away EXP, none of the enemies respawn as long as you don't exit out the actual palace. You can move over to the next screen but don't leave the palace. So after I get done with this Doom Knocker, which sometimes you're lucky you can get multiple hits with a downward thrust, I get this P bag and then I make a cut back to the entrance of the palace because my magic and my life is pretty low. And like I said, sometimes those are an Iron Knuckle, sometimes those are a red potion. If you're looking for a specific type, like if you just want the EXP, go ahead and shoot for the Iron Knuckle. But if you're trying to get the red potion and you end up with an Iron Knuckle, go down the elevator. Don't leave the actual palace because you will be respawning the enemies. That's one thing I will give credit for. But anyway, speaking of Iron Knuckles, we do have the new variation of them, and it's the blue Iron Knuckles, the dreaded blue ones that I do not like because of the projectiles. It's even with the jump trick that I've been able to, be able to pull off pretty successfully with the orange and the red Iron Knuckle. It's just really difficult for me to deal with that particular variation of the Iron Knuckle because those projectiles, man, it's rough for me. I think the most hits I've ever gotten in a row is maybe 3. And we're gonna leave that Iron Knuckle down there for purgatory. I don't like taking on Iron Knuckles in enclosed spaces like that. But we're gonna go to the far right here. Now we got this douche just shooting his fire down here, but as we can see, there is a red Iron Knuckle, and this is where a key is at. So take care of that guy, grab the key, watch out for the fire, and go back. And we're gonna take care of that red Stalfos. Normally I have trouble making that jump, but If you do somehow manage to fall down there, I've never been able to get out without using the jump spell. So be mindful of that. If you can manage to get across that gap, please do so. These guys right here are, I guess they're mini horse heads, or no, they're called something else. I don't remember, but they're quite annoying. There's one room in particular where they just infinitely spawn. Iron Knuckle right here, by the way, and it's a pain in the butt. They take away EXP, and when you do kill one, you only get 5 EXP from it, which is very, very, very unfortunate. I think if you kill them, you get 5, but if they hurt you, they take away 10 or something like that. Regardless, they're a pain in the butt. They do shoot off in a pattern, in a level-headed way that it shoots one level-headed with your shield. And speaking of shield, cast the shield spell because there's a blue Iron Knuckle. And you don't want to... Yeah, this is going to be rough. I think I actually die right here. This is going to be my first death of the... It's just hard. That right there, that's the best I've ever consistently done with the Iron Knuckle. Like, with this variation. It's rough. Look at that. That's rough. And it didn't help that I had to oh, I didn't die. Oh, okay, cool. It didn't help that I had the stupid door right there, so the door animation kind of screwed me up too. But anyway, yeah, it's those guys are rough. I hate them. I hate them. I hate them with a passion. And we're gonna have to be dealing with those guys for the rest of the game. Mind you, this is only palace number 3, so I mean, technically we're halfway through our palaces, but still, go away. You're a pain in the butt. Oh, I was talking about the little dragon heads. How their pattern is, they shoot upwards, then they shoot downwards, then they shoot upwards, then they shoot downwards. Or they start from the top and then go to the bottom. Usually when they're level-headed with Link, they'll shoot Link with his shield and then crouch down lower to his knees, which he can easily block by standing up or ducking like I'm doing right now. So it's not frustrating when it's like an open area like this, which I don't know why I got hit right there, whatever. But it's red Iron Knuckle, by the way. It's the next room over that really makes them a pain in the butt. Skip that elevator and go to the left because we need the key that's over on this side. I do believe there's a red potion inside that statue, but I don't bother with it. Is this room right here. Now, if you grab the key, if you do manage to die, at least make sure to grab the key first. And I put on the shield spell just in case I ended up taking too many hits before I got to the actual key. And I got there just fine. And I think this spell ended up screwing me over in the end, because by the end of this dungeon, I was about, I say, 150 EXP points shy away from leveling up, which kind of sucked because I felt like I wasted the crystal with the level up here. But I mean, what can you do? There's nothing you can really do about that. So it's whatever. And also there was a big gap in my video footage and I had to hurry up and just drag that over. I think I made a cut and never drug the the footage over. So that's a thing. But yeah, we're just gonna click out of that. It did not click, and I don't want to click nowhere else on the thing because I don't want the footage to jump ahead. We're just gonna assume that everything's just fine and dandy. We're just gonna, everything's not fine and dandy. Yeah, but that's okay. That's okay. I'm just gonna go ahead and just fix that right now. Yeah, let's do that. Jump and shield spell because we have a red Stalfos. The red Stalfos isn't the problem. There's a Doom Knocker in this room, so be mindful of that. Like I said, if you can't cast a jump spell, at the very least have shield ready. By this point in the game, shield is pretty cheap. I'm currently at 16 right now, so it's relatively cheap. This room right here can go to hell. Okay, so you got this blue Iron Knuckle and there's a red Iron Knuckle. The problem is I spent a good amount of time trying to off-screen that stupid blue Iron Knuckle. And I ended up, that's what I made the cut at. I ended up trying to get around this douche. But unfortunately, I ended up dying from the guy. And I was like, crap. I was just like, well, screw it. We're just going to make a run for it. And that actually helped out because I don't have that blue Iron Knuckle shooting projectiles at me while I'm taking care of this red Iron Knuckle, which, by the way, that's the mandatory Iron Knuckle you want to kill. You can go for that bottom one along with the P bag. And I do try to do that. But then I was like, nah, screw it, because I was so close to a level up. All I needed to do was to get to that. But if it wasn't such a tight spot, I would have done it. But considering the space and everything, I decided not to do it because it was just way too tight. And I had little to no magic and little to no health. So I felt like it wasn't worth it. So this is our boss here. This is essentially, I don't remember the actual name of the boss, but this is essentially an Iron Knuckle, a blue Iron Knuckle with a horsey. Like, that's essentially what it is. Because what's happening is that right now I'm damaging the horse's head right now. Occasionally I'll hit the Iron Knuckle instead. But generally what you want to do is just stand in the middle of the screen. He got a little Pac-Man syndrome going on. That's okay. Once he does that, the horsey will go away, and then you're just essentially fighting a blue Iron Knuckle. It does get a little dicey, and this one is quite annoying because for boss fights, you're locked into the screen, so the screen doesn't move with you. So by the Iron Knuckle constantly moving backwards as you go forward, it's kind of hard for me to, hit him. The good thing is I don't die. I don't get a game over right now, but I do, as you can see, struggle trying to get this guy out. And I didn't want to lure him out too far because that means I will have to deal with the projectiles that he's shooting at me. And I don't know what it is, but sometimes I just get discombobulated. Like, it's so many at once that he throws that it's hard for me to like wrap my head around, getting rid of this guy. But it is what it is. And this is the part where I try to go back because I'm so close. But I decided not to do it because it was just too risky. Like I said, that blue Iron Knuckle is there. He would have followed me. And it was just such a tight spot. It just wasn't worth it because I would have got a game over and had to redo this entire thing. And I wasn't feeling that. But yeah, it was pretty essentially a waste of a level up, but it wasn't all that bad because in the next area I usually grind a level or two anyway, which I'll do the grinding off screen and then probably just load up my save. We'll talk about that in Thursday's video. We're not going to worry about that today. That's going to be for the next part. But that's palace number 3. That is Island Palace. Right now, basically what I'm doing, I'm just trying to rush back. I really don't care. I'm on my last life. I'll give myself a game over off screen to reset my lives. But essentially we're done, and we're actually done with this portion of Hyrule. If you notice, there's a little bridge area from the harbor town of Mido that we can go to now that we have the raft, which is, by the way, the palace's treasure. And if you ever get caught into a battle around the grave sites, this is what you will have to deal with. These guys take away your EXP as well. But the video is about to end, so if you'd like to see more Let's Plays or weekend walkthroughs from the channel, please be sure to click on the links in the description below. But until then, you guys take care and have an awesome day.